some of it is so crazy. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Right. I'll just wait till it's over and then they'll tell me.
Yeah, we'll see the carnage aftermath and we're like, okay,
Right.
Who's missing?
Feast is a 2005 horror comedy that originated from the amateur filmmaking documentary contest Project Greenlight's third season and was directed by John Gallagher. The film depicts a group of strangers trapped in a remote bar that must fight off a horde of flesh-eating monsters attacking outside. Upon its release, it received generally mixed to negative reviews from critics, while some highly praised the cast performances as well as the story's humor. It grossed only $658,000 against a production budget of $3 million. This movie was recommended to us by our friend on TikTok, Try It Out TJ. He has an awesome page where he tries different unique snacks, so go check him out sometime. And if you'd like to request a movie for us to cover, feel free to comment your recommendations. So, Alex.
Yes.
Have you seen this movie before, and what were your initial thoughts?
I had not. However, I knew of it because I was familiar with Project Greenlight in the sense of like I've heard of that before. And I remember when this had won the competition, and I remember seeing posters and stuff for it. So I knew of it, but I had never seen it before.
Okay, back in 2005, like, man, that would have been, damn, not to age ourselves. But
right before high school for me.
Right, me too. Oh.
I'm old! The bones are cracking.
Yep. But what were your initial thoughts on it?
I overall thought it was a good time. I mean, you know, when this movie starts, what it's going for. Like, this is pure slapsticky, over-the-top, gory comedy mess in a good way, I would say. You know me, I love my single location trying to escape that area movies, so it checks the box for me. I would say the gore, while really over the top, like, there were moments that made me a little queasy. Normally, if it gets too like outlandish, I'm fine, you know, a la Terrifier. But there were moments where I was like, oh God, I can't look at this.
The maggots. The maggots and the slime.
Eye maggots. No, not the eye maggots.
No.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
But overall, I enjoyed it. I think it's a very simplistic premise, but I think some of the tropes that they kind of play with the heroes coming in and out, dying, the people you think might survive don't. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a fun time. I mean, if you go in knowing kind of what it's going for, I think it's fun. What about you?
Well, she goofy. Like, she really goofy.
She's a goofy bitch.
I'm just goofing. New boot goofing.
But yeah, it wasn't like laugh out loud, all these jokes are hitting. It's more or less like, what are they going for? And then the choices that are made in comparison to what actually you think is going to happen are what kind of brings that humor there. I did like it. I don't know if I would keep rewatching it or seek out any of the sequels or anything, because it was just like a silly one-time kind of thing. But fun. I also want to point out that there was like a lot of strange Charmed crossover in this. And if you don't know, I love Charmed. I watched all of the seasons, and I don't like the reboot because I am honest to the original and dedicated. But both Hero and Bozo are boyfriends of one of the Charmed sisters at one point or another. And I thought it was very interesting that both of them were here. And Hero is also McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy. And I was like, oh, hello.
Wait, what?
Yes. I was like, why are you here?
Hold, please. I'm Googling. Feast. Who's that actor? I just need to know.
He passed, unfortunately.
Oh, that's the one. Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
This man was Jason. So he was Phoebe's boyfriend at one point, and I believe he was her boss when she wrote the Ask Phoebe article in the show.
Okay. I don't really know Charmed all that much, so I did not clock any of that. So interesting.
But I also McSteamy. I was like, wow, you wanted to do this?
Yeah, why not? Something different. Sure. It's a good time.
Hey, my buddy's on here. Like, what?
Interesting. So he was Hero, the one who like dies pretty soon.
Died immediately.
Oh, man. I did like that, though. You thought he was going to be the one to save everyone. He's like, I'm here to rescue you, and then immediately gets eaten.
Right. And then seeing the cast come in, I was like, wow, we do not have strong contenders for a final person. And then I was like, oh, Hero makes sense. No.
And not even heroine. We get a part 2 to that.
We get Heroine 3 or 2 technically.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Second girl. But yeah, nope.
Nope.
She makes it, I guess.
Yeah, she does.
Just the title gets passed down 3 times.
3 times. Third time's a charm, right?
As they always say.
Of course.
Would you rewatch? Do you have any interest in seeing the sequels based on your initial experience with this film?
Perhaps. So I think in your notes you mentioned Tremors, which I got a very similar vibe to, like idea. And if you've seen any of the Tremor sequels, not good. So I fear where this could lead. I would assume it only gets goofier as the series goes on, because that tends to happen with movies like this. So I wouldn't be opposed, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were all very bad.
I believe I've seen a clip of one of the sequels, I think the second one,
Okay.
and they are running from a horde, and a man is carrying a toddler and throws the toddler into the horde. And I was like, here we are.
We're going there. Okay.
Sounds on brand.
I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that.
Now that I've watched the first one, I'm like, oh, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, spoiler, they definitely kill a kid in this. So, I mean, what's the next step? A younger child. So
terrible.
I'm not surprised. Okay. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not clamoring to see them, but for the first one, I thought it overall wasn't terrible.
Okay. What was your impression of the introduction of the cast? Everybody gets their little title card name and life expectancy. Kind of tells you to expect the unexpected because, as you can see, like, I think the child had a life expectancy of like a long and happy life, and he is dead within 10 minutes.
Yeah. I thought it was fun. I will say it happens so many times. There are a ton of characters in this that I really couldn't keep up with everything, in the sense of like I couldn't remember what each one said, but in the moment it was funny.
There was one that I clocked though with the bartender, just because it was so specific. It said gruesome death in 70 minutes, and I was like, I'll check that. Like,
did you? Because I did. It was around 70 minutes.
Yeah, he had a heart attack, and I was like, okay, so not as gruesome as everybody else, but gruesome.
Yeah.
Like, they bit his neck, I think, too, but I think he was already kind of gone.
Yeah. So, like, for example, so the hero comes, he dies, and then his wife comes, who becomes the heroine. So that's her name. Occupation, wear tank top, tote, shotgun, save day. Her life expectancy says, hopefully better than the last hero. So it's like really tongue-in-cheek things like that. And I thought they were pretty funny. Oh, yeah. I took a picture of the bartender. So his name just says bartender. Fun fact, shot 1 time, stabbed 6 times, bit by a squirrel 1 time. And then his life expectancy, horrifying death in 70 minutes. So each little character gets one of those. So I thought it was fun. It was a fun way to kind of get the vibe of the movie off the bat.
Yes. So they really subvert expectations or go past where most movies would stop by killing off a kid, the waitress abandoning everyone at the last minute.
Come on. Drive it like you stole it, baby. Come on! She's fucking leaving.
What?
She's leaving us? Fuck!
She was like, bye, bitches.
That would have been me. Later, I don't know any of you people.
Killing off an injured person that was previously presumed dead. A man named Bozo is the main protagonist. Like, do you think that made the movie more interesting, or do you think they were going too far in some instances?
No, I think it was fine. I don't think any of it was really offensive by any means, in my opinion. I thought it was interesting how they kind of just change it up just a little bit. Nothing revolutionary, I would say, but it does poke fun at some of those tropes throughout.
Yeah, right. I agree. I don't think they were too horrifying. Like the killing off the kid thing, we didn't really even see it, honestly. That was kind of one of my complaints I had for aesthetics. There's so many instances where everything's so red and yellow. It's like almost kind of like paint splatter looking at it in a way that you can't tell what's really happening until it's over and the person that lost whoever is crying.
Yeah, the camera work is very sporadic, jump cuts, very flashy visuals. So yeah, 100%. Like, I think when the kid dies, you just see his like last bit of his legs sticking out of the monster's mouth. I didn't even realize it was the kid at first because
I thought the mom was killed for a second, and I was like, oh, damn. But then I was like, oh, it's the kid. That's worse.
Yeah, she gets pushed away, and then in the next instant, you don't actually like really see the kid get grabbed, really. You just see his like legs sticking out. So I had the same thought. I thought it was the mom at first, but yeah, to your point, some of it is so crazy. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Right. I'll just wait till it's over and then they'll tell me.
Yeah, we'll see the carnage aftermath and we're like, okay, who's missing?
Beer guy slime attack was entirely too green and snot-like for me. I will say that. And the decomposing that follows was so hard to watch.
Yeah. That made me physically ill a couple times. Everything else was fine, but it was the slow decaying of this man. And then, he's like...
Is it getting better?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Okay.
And then she goes and pukes herself. I'm like, at least she tried. Yeah, at least she tried to make him feel better, but she's like picking at it. I'm like, sir, you need to cease and desist immediately.
Right.
Enough.
Oh, out of all the people that probably could have been sacrificed to the monsters and it wouldn't have made any difference, maybe this man.
Yeah.
Because he was groaning and becoming delirious at one point that I was like, is he going to transform into a monster? Are these maggots going to hatch something? I was expecting something to happen. Like, even though we had seen the monsters reproduce already, I was still expecting some sort of secondary creature to emerge out of him being infected.
Yeah. I forgot that the monsters totally do the devil's tango, like right by one of the cars.
We see the whole process beginning to end.
And then immediately give birth. I'm like, oh, that's a really short span.
Good turnaround time.
I was like, oh my God, we are not doing this. That was funny.
Yes. Yeah, speaking of the monsters, like, what the hell are these things? Like, did you have any idea what they could possibly be? Alien, demon, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, another instance of not explained where they came from, what they are. In my mind, my headcanon is they're like subterranean creatures from the ground. I don't know why I think that, but that's just where my mind goes.
Well, we agreed that the aesthetic is Tremors-like, so
yeah,
it makes sense. You think they come from the ground.
That's probably what I just connected it in my head. I think the design was interesting. You don't actually like really see what they look like towards the end because they wear like dead animal stuff.
Yeah, and they almost look kind of mammoth-like, the big ones at least. And then because they're just wearing so much fur and stuff.
And then you actually see them. I'm like, oh, okay, they're not that bulky, but they just have like a ton of razor sharp teeth.
Yeah,
alien-esque, I would say, but. I thought it was an interesting design. You know, it wasn't, again, nothing I probably haven't seen before in variations of. And
right,
almost felt
like without the costumes, they look more alien.
Yeah. It almost reminded me of like an anglerfish, like the jaw of an anglerfish.
Oh, yeah, with like the overlapping teeth.
Yeah. Gotcha. So I thought it was interesting. I'd be afraid of it if I saw it in real life. So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it more when we get to our ratings, too, that I had a hard time deciding between whether or not this was a 2 or a 3, because, like, I'm not necessarily terrified of them, but I do acknowledge game got game. Like, they seem a formidable force that I don't know if I would be able to stop.
Yeah, I mean, IRL, if I was in this situation, a 3. I mean, we mentioned this. When you put yourself actually in that position, like, yeah, that's a 3. But
it bumps every movie up to a 3.
Exactly. So, but like watching it as a film, it's a little different. So,
yeah, for sure. So, how did you feel about the aesthetic and cinematography?
Yeah, the aesthetic, I liked the location and it's like vibrant in a way while also dusty desert, kind of westerny. The cinematography, I kind of already mentioned, I have a little bit of a problem with just because it was hard to keep track of who was dying, what was going on until things kind of settled. But overall, I thought it was an interesting look. How about you?
I agree. This movie definitely has its own vibe, like the isolation and with people bursting in at all times seems akin to a Western to me as well. And maybe even a bloodier version of Tremors, like we had talked about. I did like the few instances where blood splattered on the camera, so it made it look like as if we were there and, blood splattered on our face. So it made us feel like we were experiencing it a little with them. But all of the attack scenes kind of get so muddled that you're not really sure what's shaking down until the dust settles, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much blood that's really all you kind of see, and body parts flying, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it lends to the comedy, I would say. Like, the deaths are horrific, but so outlandish that you're like, okay, well, I can't be too horrified at what's going on because this is just craziness.
Right. And I can definitely see how it's divided online between like people that really just love the goofiness and the gory over the top kills and everything compared to like, is this cinema or,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of walking the line between, I don't know if I like enjoyed it, but also respect, like this deserves its own credit for being what it is as well.
Yeah. I mean, I always look at movies in a way like, yeah, you have your really deep symbolic movies, but then you could totally have a movie that's just gratuitous fun for silliness sake, like I akin this to like when people complain about a song that has lyrics that mean nothing, and I'm like, yeah, but sometimes those songs are like really fun, like you just need something to turn your brain off, just have a good time for a song like 3 minutes, but a movie like an hour and a half where you're just watching the most outlandish things, you're laughing, it doesn't have to be this deep thing to enjoy it. That's just every movie. Well, not every movie, but most movies have a lane, and it just fills some sort of like mood that you're looking for. So if you want something that's silly, slapsticky, over the top, this is a good choice, I would say. I guess with this movie, it doesn't shy away from some commentary, though, too, if you think about it, because like there is an emotional element with the mother and her son who dies, right? Mm-hmm. You see a little bit of a glimpse where she's essentially prostituting herself for money. So it does like kind of touch on some emotional elements. Right. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or if it is just all silliness.
No, I could see that. Like I could see them trying to do a little something deeper there because also it motivates her to find heroine's daughter at the end as well because they share that bond of like losing a child. And well, in this case, heroine's child is just lost. We don't know where she is. But yeah, I get that. I think that it gives it a little bit more nuance there, but also they do kill off her kids. So
yeah, but it drives her to a greater, I don't want to say greater purpose, but
it drives her to help everybody and become heroine too. I think
exactly.
She's heroine too. Yeah. So
minimally, I think, but there are instances of that.
I think they switched her title card out then, and then she was like grieving mother, but she's handling it well, or was her occupation.
Yeah. Yeah. Something along those lines. So
right.
There is character growth. Look.
Yeah, for sure. Right. And even Bozo, which is kind of a shitty little asshole in the beginning, he rises to the challenge, to kind of take over. He's kind of scared shitless at first, but he's our final guy and he makes it out with Heroine 2 and they're going to go find Heroine 1's daughter. And I thought there was like a nice relationship between him and his disabled brother as well.
Yeah.
And they also had a caption card like, we wouldn't really kill off the kid in the wheelchair, right?
Well, they say something else, but yeah.
Right. But yes, but I thought there was a nice relationship there too. And it showed how much he cared, even though he was this bozo personality stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. So not a lot, but there are attempts there, I think. So I just wanted to mention that. That's not all just one-dimensional characters across the board. So there's a little bit there.
Some certainly are, but
yeah,
not all.
Yeah. For sure. Okay.
So we're going to rate each category 1 out of 3 to get our overall scary rating. And Alex, what did you have?
I gave plot a 2 out of 3, suspense a 1 out of 3, atmosphere a 2 out of 3, villains I did do 2 out of 3, and I did not give it my extra special point, not because I didn't enjoy it, but mostly because this is so silly to me that I wasn't like overall super scary, so I didn't want to give it that extra point for that. So
Fair enough.
how about you?
I gave plot a 1. I gave suspense a 2. I gave atmosphere a 2. And since I've decided now from our discussion, I'm going to do villains as a 2 because like they're not scary watching it. Obviously, it would be terrifying in that situation, but we could say that for every movie. So,
Exactly.
So I'm going to make it a 7 out of 13 in total because I didn't give it my extra special point either. So I'm on the same page as you. I agree that like while it was not a bad watch, didn't mind experiencing it, not sure if I would be like geared up to watch another one or want to return to it anytime soon.
Yeah.
Respect what it did. Don't want to really increase this horror scary rating for.
Yeah. I could see a world where they play this like straight and it could be way scarier, but it's just goofy, silly, all over the place. So yeah, I would say even a 7's maybe a little high, but it has its moments.
Yeah, for the gore as well. And then they do castrate a monster at one point, and you're like, oh, that's its thing. Like
that's a monster penis. Why?
Yes. And we do see them reproduce in front of us. And I think its baby was like humping a deer skull at one point, or like, you know, the head of a deer and hanging up in the bar.
Yeah.
They were very sexual in nature.
I mean, they are animals in a sense, you know, right? That's they just need to reproduce to keep the line going.
Yeah.
And I do have to give the movie credit. Any movie that makes me sick, like while that's not the same thing as being scary, it's enough in the same vein for me. I'm like, okay, I gotta give you credit there, right?
Like, those maggots are really doing all the work in there. Yeah.
There was like a couple minutes. I'm just like,
yeah. And his like skin was getting like slimy, like trying to slip off. Like,
no, Stephanie.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It really was. But overall, a good time, in my opinion.
Just goofy.
Just silly goofy. That should be the tagline. This movie is silly goofy. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a like, and you can subscribe to us to be notified when we post new episodes. And again, thank you to Try It Out TJ for suggesting this movie.
Yes, thank you. And you can find us on social media using 13 Degrees of Screams.
This has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.